y'all, it's Shannon Hicks at Lehman Library, and I'm back with another Real Talk Storytime. Today I'm going to read a book that came out last year right before the P word, pandemic. And I don't know if the author and illustrator and the publisher thought, I don't know if they knew something extra, but it is about Dr. Jonas Salk, who created the vaccine for polio. So just like right now when we're hearing all kind of words like vaccine and Pfizer and Moderna and all kind of words that you may not know what they mean, I want to read a story to you about another time in our country not too long ago where we had another illness that people were scared of that a vaccine cured. So the title of this book is The Polio Pioneer, Dr. Jonas Salk and the Polio Vaccine. Written by Linda Elovitz Marshall and illustrated by Lisa Anchin. And I love the quote in the beginning of the book. Hope lies in dreams, in imagination, and in the courage of those who dare to make dreams into reality. People at the Victory Parade in New York City cheered, "Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! The war is over!" It was 1918. The First World War had ended. But 4-year-old Jonas Salk didn't cheer. Jonas saw injured and wounded soldiers. He saw soldiers unable to walk. Jonas Salk was a kid who saw things differently. While friends played games, Jonas read and read. Always a good thing to do, boys and girls. But when they needed a referee, they asked Jonas for help. He knew the rules and applied them fairly. Jonas's family was Jewish. They fled Russia and Lithuania to escape religious persecution. They came to America seeking safer, better lives. His mother, Dora, had little formal education. After coming to America, she learned to speak English. But when Jonas was a child, she could read and write only in Yiddish, which is a Jewish language. His father, Daniel, was an excellent lace maker, but he was often out of work, and there was never enough money. Yet Dora and Daniel taught their children the importance of education, of kindness, and of doing good works. Jonas prayed that he might someday help make the world a better place. Jonas attended the City College of New York, where tuition was free and where, unlike at many colleges and universities, Jews were welcome. There he discovered chemistry. Jonas hoped that by understanding science, he could make medicines that would help people. He decided to go to medical school to become a doctor and researcher. After medical school, Dr. Jonas Salk worked with his teacher and friend, Dr. Thomas Francis. They were seeking a medicine to protect people from influenza, the flu virus, which in 1918 killed millions of people around the world. You know how some of you may get a flu shot every year? Listen, because this is how it came about. Substances known as vaccines, I know you've heard that word, had already been made to help protect people against other diseases. Dr. Salk and Dr. Francis had an idea. What if a person was given some flu virus that was killed by chemicals so it could not cause disease? Then that person's body could practice fighting the flu. Could that person's body learn to fight the flu virus and win? Dr. Salk and Dr. Francis thought it could. They studied different types of influenza viruses. Then, using inactivated flu viruses, they made a vaccine to give people's bodies a safe practice run. Dr. Francis and Dr. Salk's flu vaccine worked. Their flu shot helped prevent people from getting the flu. It helped give people immunity to the flu. Since then, flu shots have saved thousands of lives each year, and I know I get my flu shot every year. But another disease was also raging. Polio. Throughout America, polio paralyzed or killed thousands of people every year, including many babies and small children. No one could be sure they were safe from the disease, not even future President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He had polio and he was in a wheelchair. Fearing that polio could spread through water, communities closed swimming pools and beaches. Parents kept children away from movie theaters, sleepovers, and crowds. Everywhere, people wondered, could polio be prevented? Could it be cured? Doesn't that sound like some of what we're going through now? Dr. Salk believed polio could be prevented. He believed he could develop a polio vaccine. Dr. Salk researched, experimented, and tested ideas. He and his team of scientists labored day and night and day. Dr. Salk and his team studied different types of polio viruses. Just as with the flu vaccine, they killed the polio viruses with chemicals so the viruses couldn't cause disease. Then they used the inactive polio viruses to make a vaccine. Dr. Salk and his team first tested their vaccine in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where they lived. Dr. Salk gave many of the shots himself. The vaccine appeared safe and seemed to strengthen the body's defense against polio, but would it actually prevent polio? A larger test with many more participants was needed. Dr. Francis joined in to oversee the larger test. Throughout America, almost 2 million children, polio pioneers, participated. On April 2nd, 1955, Dr. Francis announced to the world, "The vaccine works. Polio could be conquered." Church bells rang, factory whistles blew, the country celebrated. And within a few years, cases of polio plummeted. Soon, throughout America and much of the world, polio was almost completely gone. But more research and work on other diseases was needed. Dr. Salk wanted to make sure all people around the world received vaccinations and stayed healthy. So Dr. Salk kept working, thinking, dreaming. And on a bluff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Salk established the Salk Institute for Biological Studies. There, researchers question and discover, seeking cures for cancer, HIV/AIDS, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and many other diseases. Jonas Salk was a kid who saw things differently. A kid just like you, who wanted to help make the world a better place. Ever meet a kid like that? Could that kid be you? The end. Listen, boys and girls, this story is about a real person who was once a kid just like you. So I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, wear your mask, wash your hands, watch your distance, and stay safe. Until next time, keep reading, keep thinking.